Red Bull isn't denying it. Liam Lawson may be on the chopping block, and with Max Verstappen needing a strong teammate, every option is now on the table. In this video, we break down Red Bull's real choices, backed by facts, not rumors. Red Bull Racing is dominating headlines, not just for Max Verstappen's brilliance, but because of one question they can't seem to answer. Who should drive alongside him? Following a tough weekend for Liam Lawson at the Chinese Grand Prix, speculation is mounting over whether he'll be replaced, and if so, by whom. In this video, we'll explore every serious option Red Bull is considering, using only confirmed information. No rumors, no wild guesses. We break it all down using real quotes, team statements, and reliable reporting. So if you want to understand how Red Bull is planning its future and what it means for the 2025 Formula One season, keep watching. Let's dive in. Red Bull isn't just searching for a second driver. They're managing expectations, reputations, and long-term strategy. After a second consecutive Q1 exit and a 15th place finish for Liam Lawson in China, the team has publicly admitted the results haven't met expectations. Team boss Christian Horner didn't rule out a change when speaking after the Chinese Grand Prix, and that ambiguity speaks volumes. The team is weighing performance with driver development, a delicate balance. As the article notes, Red Bull wants to avoid burning out another young talent too early, something they've been criticized for in the past. In a grid where rookies like Kimi Antonelli and Gabriel Bortoleto are already performing well, Red Bull can't afford a long learning curve. So who's next to partner Verstappen? Before we dig into the candidates, ask yourself this. Would you bet Red Bull's championship ambitions on an unproven driver? Liam Lawson was supposed to be the cool-headed rookie ready to thrive under pressure. But his first two races have delivered more questions than confidence. Let's be fair, both tracks he raced on, including China, were unfamiliar to him, and one was a sprint weekend with limited setup time. Still, Red Bull expected more. Lawson didn't make any significant forward progress in China, finishing 15th and looking visibly uncomfortable with the car. So is he really in danger of losing the seat? Not yet. Red Bull seems open to giving him at least one more chance, particularly at the Japanese Grand Prix, where Lawson has prior success. In fact, he finished second in Super Formula there in 2023. Christian Horner acknowledged that the team has a duty to look after him, suggesting that they might still believe in his long-term potential, if not his short-term results. If you were Red Bull, would you give Lawson another race to prove himself at a track he knows, or cut your losses now? If Red Bull does make a change, Yuki Tsunoda is the most logical in-house replacement. Since joining F1 in 2021, Tsunoda has matured from an impulsive radio shouter into a consistent midfield performer. He's faced setbacks, early criticisms about laziness, being relocated to Faenza for closer supervision, and watching multiple teammates get the nod ahead of him. Yet, he stayed focused, beating teammate after teammate and scoring consistent points. Importantly, Tsunoda has already driven the RB20 during testing in Abu Dhabi and reportedly enjoyed the handling, a good sign if Red Bull needs a quick swap. And let's not ignore the stakes. With Honda splitting from Red Bull in 2026 and aligning with Aston Martin, Tsunoda's window is closing. A promotion now could be both a reward and a test. Would Red Bull finally solve their second driver problem with Tsunoda, or just delay it? Isaac Hadjar turned heads in China after bouncing back from a disastrous outing in Australia. But let's not get carried away. As the article points out, he's completed just 2 race weekends. If Lawson's inexperience is a liability, Hadjar's is even more glaring. As for Franco Colapinto, there's talent there, no question, but he's not even part of the Red Bull driver pool. He's contracted with Alpine, meaning that bringing him in would require legal gymnastics and a deal with Flavio Briatore. Spoiler, that's not happening anytime soon. Colapinto also faded under pressure in the latter part of last season, a red flag for a team already dealing with underperformance. Both rookies represent the same risks as Lawson without any of the infrastructure support. Red Bull may be aggressive, but they aren't reckless. Now let's talk about the outsiders. Valtteri Bottas is proven, fast, reliable, and recently back with Mercedes as a reserve driver. He's got experience being a number 2 driver and could slot into the RB21 without much trouble. But the catch? Politics. Red Bull and Mercedes don't have the coziest relationship, and giving Mercedes the satisfaction of supplying a driver might be too much for Horner to stomach. Zhou Guanyu is another interesting case. He's young, steady, and marketable, particularly in Asia, where Red Bull could gain traction following Sergio Perez's departure from the team. But Zhou is loosely tied to Ferrari and lacks standout performances that would justify the move. Neither option screams long-term solution, and more importantly, both suggest that Red Bull's own driver development pipeline isn't working. That's a narrative the team wants to avoid. What about the unexpected? Could Red Bull call back Daniel Ricciardo or even Sergio Perez? Ricciardo's return seems unlikely. The tone around him has shifted, the consensus being that his best years are behind him. Even though he's still around the Red Bull garage, the energy just doesn't suggest a comeback. Perez, though? Stranger things have happened. He's still involved in Red Bull's promotional events and show runs, and crucially, he has experience handling the difficult Red Bull cars, a trait newer drivers are struggling with. With the RB21 reportedly more forgiving than last year's chassis, could this be the car Perez was waiting for? If Perez showed interest, would Red Bull be wrong to give him one last shot in a now improved machine? Red Bull is at a crossroads. Stick with Lawson and hope his Japanese experience turns things around? Promote Tsunoda and finally test him at the highest level, or gamble on an outsider? There's no clear winner, but there is a clear deadline. With every race, the pressure mounts. The second seat isn't just a vacancy, it's a signal of where Red Bull sees itself in the next 5 years. Will it be a team that sticks to its development program, or one that admits it needs outside help? One thing is for sure, Max Verstappen deserves a teammate who can match the car's performance, and right now, that driver hasn't emerged yet. Red Bull's second seat is more than just a personnel decision. It's a test of philosophy, patience, and pride. And while Lawson still has a shot, the competition is fierce, and the expectations are sky high. Who do you think should be Verstappen's next teammate? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more real F1 updates, and like this video if you want to see more driver breakdowns. Thanks for watching.